I would like to start off by thanking my thesis mentor, Igor Webb. I'd also like to thank Kermit Frazier, who led a very helpful thesis colloquium last semester. The entire Adelphi MFA faculty and all of my peers, many of whom have seen multiple drafts of this work in progress. And last but not least, I would like to thank my parents for all of their support. So tonight I'm going to be reading an excerpt from my novella, What She Left Behind. And as Judy mentioned, it takes place in the late 1940s and focuses on a young woman named Marie who goes out to Hollywood to become a contract actress at MGM Studios. And to give you a brief history aside, this is during the heyday of the studio system when actors were bound to a specific studio and the studio had complete creative control over their image and careers. So to set you up for the excerpt I'm going to read, Marie, this is in the beginning of the novella, Marie had previously met another contract actress named Linda Summer, and one of the things that drew Marie to her is that they share a physical resemblance. And throughout the novella, which is a lot about identity and public persona, Linda remains someone who Marie is very fascinated with and slightly envious of. So this scene takes place right after Marie has been signed to MGM. MGM was a private city with 7 separate lots that housed sound stages, dressing rooms, artificial jungles, suburban towns, exotic deserts, and clear blue lakes. The studio had its own Western Union office, barbershop, chiropractor, dentist, and schoolhouse, all of it connected by 13 miles of paved road. On her first day of work, Marie obediently followed the publicity man on her official guided tour, her eyes like a greedy child's, taking everything in. They walked past star-studded dressing rooms and brushed elbows with ranch hands and 20s flappers. She was Alice in Wonderland, a wide-eyed girl transported into a strange storybook setting. At the crew gate on Culver Boulevard, Marie punched in her time card at 7 a.m. sharp, the machine making an obnoxious clattering noise. Apprehension curdled in her stomach. She'd been told the first half of her day would largely be spent in the wardrobe and makeup departments. The thought of having her body scrutinized was more nerve-wracking than acting on camera. How she longed for a script so she could slip into a role easily. At least when acting, she could become someone else, take on an unfamiliar persona that acted as a protective coating to her true self. Now she would be exposed, her exterior laid raw. In the wardrobe department, middle-aged ladies flitted around her, clucking like old hens. They poked and prodded, treating her like a storefront mannequin, measuring everything from her bust size to shoulder width. They called out her measurements indifferently, Marie unable to distinguish if her build was average or outside the desired lines of a starlet's body type. She had a slender build with a dancer's long legs, something she was immensely proud of, but which she never shown off. She remembered buying a 2-piece bathing suit one summer to wear to the lake and having her mother scold her, "You shouldn't wear that in public." Like a factory product, she was moved along to makeup, where she sat on a large swivel chair under intense key-lig lights. When they applied pancake makeup to her face, several men in white lab coats scrutinized her closely, talking openly to one another. No need for electrolysis, although forehead is a bit high. Eyebrows are much too thick. Do something about the nose. Too foreign. Foreign? I'm an American, Marie snapped. Chatter stopped. The men looked at her curiously, as if she were a doll come to life. Marie winced. Only her first day, and already she was making enemies. She took a deep breath and straightened her posture. "I just don't know what you mean by that word," she said. A baby-faced man with a splattering of freckles explained, "Well, honey, your nose is a little bulbous, and that might not photograph well on camera. We'll do the best we can with makeup, but you should really consider getting a nose job." Marie felt like she'd been slapped in the face. She was speechless while someone shaded 2 tan strips of powder along the sides of her nose. Her only protest was when they began tweezing her eyebrows, Marie reacting with a violent squawk. She was surprised when Freckles spoke up for her. "Just clean them up. She has an exotic look. Let's emphasize it." At last, they turned the swivel chair around, and Marie faced the mirror. She barely recognized herself. What she saw instead looked like a distant imitation. Indeed, her thick brows had remained more or less intact, but her nose was less noticeable, more toned down. The head played up her almond-shaped eyes, rimming them in kohl, while her lips were smeared in a glowing scarlet that looked obscene. The pancake makeup was so thick that Marie wasn't able to see her pores. "It doesn't really look like me," she said in wonderment. "It is you," Freckles insisted. "You're just not used to it. See, you never realized how good you could look." Marie snorted at his backhand compliment. "What's your name, anyway?" she asked. He reminded her of Mickey Rooney and was just as short. "Tom Whaling, makeup artist," he said proudly, offering his hand with a flourish. Marie shook it, surprised at how soft it was. Although he was critically blunt, there was something about him she found amusing and slightly charming. "Will I see more of you around?" she asked. "Honey, we'll see so much of each other, you'll be sick of me." Later that day, Marie met with a voice coach who forced her to read aloud pages of script. Every few seconds, the woman would slow Marie down and tell her to repeat what she just read. "You're from Pennsylvania, aren't you?" "Yeah. Is it obvious?" "I can't place your accent. It's a combination of the guttural, low German sounds of the Pennsylvania Dutch mixed with some Philadelphia twang." "Oh." A new layer of self-consciousness formed on Marie's skin. "Is that bad?" The woman laughed. "It's not bad, just unattractive. We want actors to speak with a deregionalized accent, meaning your hometown isn't visible at all." Marie read the script aloud again, the voice coach stopping and correcting her pronunciation with every other word. She felt like she was relearning dance steps with shoes that didn't fit. The coach wrote phonetics on the chalkboard and every so often would wrap the board with a ruler. It was like grade school all over again. She thought of her years in the one-room schoolhouse with its wooden desks and crackling coal stove. Why hadn't they taught her to speak properly then? Because I was raised as a hick. She flushed at the thought. She was relieved when she could break for lunch. The commissary looked like any regular dining hall, with white tablecloths and menus, except a large portion of the people milling around were in various costumes: colonial red coats, medieval ball gowns, and grass hula skirts. Nervously scanning the tables, Marie looked for a friendly face. Her head was spinning. She resigned herself to loneliness and seated herself at a small corner table, watching the various characters. The most interesting group was a cluster of dance extras. They were wearing blue leotards decorated with feathers and sparkles and crowded around an oblong table. The women giggled nervously, whispering into each other's ears. They reminded Marie of the girls in high school. One of them, a platinum blonde, motionlessly signaled to the group, and they walked away, their tap shoes clicking on the floor like mini bursts of applause. Like dust settling after a sandstorm, all that remained at the table were its three occupants, two dowdy-looking women and a sultry-looking brunette that resembled Linda Summer. Marie squinted and realized it was Linda. Without thinking, Marie collected her belongings and scrambled over. "Hey, remember me?" Her words came out like a gushing fan's. Linda swiveled in her chair and blinked. There was a beat of silence between them, like a misplayed note on a piano. Then Linda's face broke into a grin, and she laughed. "Well, hello there, stranger. Of course I remember you." She pulled out the empty chair next to her. "Why don't you have a seat?" Marie sat down, suddenly feeling self-conscious. She smoothed back her hair, hoping it wasn't frizzy. Across from her, the two dowdy women stared. Neither smiled. "Well, isn't this funny? Small world, eh?" Linda swirled the ice in her glass. "Girls, this is Marie. She's a actress," Marie blurted. "I just got signed last week. Today's my first day." She grinned at the dishwater blonde across from her, but the woman remained poker-faced. "Congratulations," Linda said, in a tone Marie wasn't able to decipher was truly genuine. "Jean," the blonde said. She extended her hand in a limp handshake. Her nails were bitten to the pink. The two women were both artists. Jean designed scenic backgrounds for sets, while Molly, a mousy-haired girl with a hooked nose, was a wig maker. Jean eyed Marie skeptically, while Molly quickly forgot Marie's presence, slurping loudly at her tomato soup instead. "Is she a relative of yours?" Jean asked. She clenched a Lucky Strike cigarette between her fingers. Linda guffawed. "Of course not. You know I don't talk to anyone in my family, except for Teresa." Jean continued looking back and forth from Marie to Linda, as if trying to decipher some secret code. "Well, you two could certainly pass for sisters." Marie laughed. The homeless man thought so too. She waited for someone to ask for an explanation, but Jean only squinted in annoyance. Leaned in towards Marie like they shared a private joke. She lowered her voice. How was makeup? Brutal, huh? Marie bristled at the memory. Yeah, one of the guys, Tom Whaling. Oh, I love Tom. Linda clasped her hands in delight. He's a riot. Fags are wonderful. He told me I should get a nose job. Marie's voice tapered slightly. She wished she hadn't said it. Was there an unspoken rule against actresses sharing their defects? Maybe she needed to be less open with people. A funny look passed over Jean's face, like she'd bitten into something sour. What an ass. I'm glad I'm not an actress. It's a meat market, Molly said. She tore off a piece of bread and cleaned the remains of her soup bowl. Without asking, she then reached over and stole Linda's plate. Linda acted like she didn't notice. Marie realized she had hardly touched her salad. I had it done, Linda said. She pushed her hair back from her face, exposing her forehead. Electrolysis, too. Said my hairline was too low. I wasn't happy about it, but they were right. I photograph a lot better. She ran a finger along the bridge of her nose, which Marie noticed was stick straight. Isn't surgery expensive? Marie asked. She imagined someone breaking her nose and wrapping it in gauze. She pushed her half-eaten sandwich away, feeling slightly nauseated. Oh, a friend of mine paid for it. A very gracious man. I owe him a lot. Abruptly, Linda took a long sip of ice water. After she was finished, she straightened her posture and began applying a fresh coat of lipstick. Listen, there's a party in the Hollywood Hills this Friday. You should come. Great connections, you know. Linda snapped her lipstick case shut and jotted down the address on a grease-stained napkin. Hesitantly, Marie looked down at the address. I don't have a car. There was an awkward silence at the table, and even Molly looked at Marie quizzically. Marie cringed under their stares. They think I'm poor. I can't afford a car. Everyone here drives. Suddenly she felt defensive. Who were they to judge? I came here on a train. I didn't... It's fine. Linda waved her hand in the air. Then Jean can drive both of us. My car's in the shop, but she can drop us off. Jean glared at Linda but said nothing. Marie sucked in her breath, mildly surprised at the offer. She wondered if Linda was paying her back for approaching her in the diner. She'll probably ditch me as soon as we get there, she thought. I hate parties, Molly said blandly. She and Jean began collecting their things. They walked away without saying goodbye. Let me know by Thursday, Linda said. She stood up to leave. Marie thought of the 3 faded summer dresses she had at the boarding house, collecting dust in the musty closet. None of them were suitable enough to wear to a party in the hills. I don't have anything to wear, she hissed. Borrow from the wardrobe department, Linda said. Just sign out a dress. If you're lucky, they might let you take some jewelry. Nothing too fancy, though. Marie's eyes widened. They'd let us do that? Sure. The studio wants us to go out and be social, get our faces recognized, whatever. Sometimes they'll even set you up on a date with another contract player. Anything for publicity, as long as you behave yourself. She used the last line in such a mocking tone. Marie knew she was imitating someone else. Linda looked at the clock and cursed. Shit. She forcibly pushed her way through a gaggle of chorus girls. Halfway out the door, she turned and hollered back at Marie. Let me know by Thursday. Thanks.